Hey, happy Monday, guys. All right, so this week begins with our next step into our Wisdom Riders Diary project. All right, last week you had an opportunity to do the choosing a path task, and hopefully you've done that. If you haven't, you need to do that first before you move on to this. All right, and just as a reminder, as we go through these various stages, one kind of builds upon on the other. So you're going to have to kind of keep pace and keep on top of things and do things sequentially. All right, that is not to say that you can't jump in at certain points, but it is to say that if you follow the steps sequentially, I think it'll make it far less difficult for you. All right, and so today's called Discovery Draft, all right? And there's going to be as many digging into kind of the past and finding ideas and details as it is drafting. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this here really quickly. I'll use my example where and when I can. Some of it just would take too much time. All right. And so last week, as I said, you had a chance to kind of choose your path. Today, you're going to have a chance to kind of explore that path and hopefully discover some ideas. That's why we're calling it the discovery draft here in details as we begin the writing process. And I know some of you will want to just kind of rush through this and get this done. And ultimately, it's up to you folks. But here's the deal. I think that the more time you spend now, the less time you'll have to spend later, especially redoing stuff because you haven't just come up with good ideas. All right, and so um, please engage this and embrace this as it's intended to be, and that's to help you truly make some discoveries about where you're going to go with this. All right. And I know it's not been made fully clear yet as to what our final project's going to look like, but I think the word diary can probably give it away just a little bit. All right. And so, anyway, let's walk through this. First one, copy and paste your universal theme from last week's choosing a path task. All right. So please go back to that and paste it in here. In most cases, it should probably be just one word. My word last week was loss. All right. And why is that? Why do I think that theme is universal, right? And the reason I'm asking this question is I want you to think about how does this theme apply to or fit with the idea of the human experience, all right? And why is it something that, in general, most of us at some stage in our lives will experience? Okay, and so why is mine universal loss? Well, um, life is about losing, okay? And I don't mean like losing the competition. I mean we lose our loved ones, all right? We lose things that we thought were always going to be in place, all right? And for instance, thinking about divorce here and the loss that I experienced when my parents got divorced, right? That is the frame in which I'm thinking about loss. And even if your parents never get divorced, all right, by having, okay, you never really know what it was like to have lost, okay? And so there's always the two sides of the coin to consider there. And then your thesis statement, remember, was the one where you had to have your universal theme, and you also had to have the words "I am human" in there, and you had different ways that you could have done that. All right. And I think remembering back, mine was something like, "Because I've experienced loss, I am human." All right. Your theme statement should be similar to that. Okay, moving forward. Now it's into the drafting part. Okay. I'm going to ask you to kind of tell the story of your significant experience from last week. All right. And I know some of you have chosen, even at my urging, some simple experiences that still had significance in terms of their outcome. All right. But I would encourage you to capture detail here. All right. That's really what the point is. And so try to relate the story. I'm going to encourage you to set a timer from anywhere to 7 to 10, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and just write for that entire time. Don't worry about how organized it is. Don't worry about how focused it is. Just get it down on paper. Okay. To follow up from those, there are three items. How are things before the experience? Okay. And so I want you to think about like how things were before, because I think what's important here, especially in diary mode, is there's life before the event, there's the event, and then there's life after the event. Okay. Particularly if we're thinking like something significant came out of this in terms of our understanding of ourselves or the human experience. All right. So how are things before the experience? Explain. Okay. And again, the more you capture here, I think the better later on. All right. And then how are things after the experience? Okay. And then finally, oh, actually, there's four more. What message would you hope that others would take away from hearing about your experience? Right? What's the lesson learned? What's the message that you want us to take as we walk away from your experience? And then formally, I want you to turn that into a theme statement, and I want you to base it off what you've learned so far about theme statements this year. Here are the success criteria. And then in a single sentence statement, all right, I want you to basically take the idea of your message right here, and I want you to state it as a theme. Okay. Mine might be something like, sometimes loss is gain. All right. And so when you hear that, I would think that you would imagine that my story about my parents' divorce, all right, is going to be a little bit more about than about the loss that I experienced and how devastating that was, and it was, all right. But as I've looked back upon it, all right, and as I think on it, I actually gained some things from that, and so kind of the idea that even from bad we can sometimes find the good, all right, and so that is what I'm looking for. I will explain tomorrow or in the next few days, how your theme statement is going to fit into this. All right. Really quickly, remember your thesis statement is your because I experienced loss, I am human, to show the universality of it. Down here is the message, your unique message that you want to share with the world. All right. And that is for mine, sometimes loss is gain. Okay. And so hopefully this helps you guys walk through this. Again, what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. All right. I'm just looking to see that you make an honest attempt to go through all the steps here. All right. If you need more help than what I've given, please reach out. Other than that, let's go make some discoveries today. Okie dokie. All right. See you guys later.